Just look at this technique here they're using. It's incredible. It needs at this precise weight to keep it down so that Adam is doing some scribing. Oh, can't get past it. Here we go, look at this. Now this is an interesting technique, but it's working. It does the job. And it's all scribed, ready to cut that out, so that can go in the gabion and hold the maple wood together. Okay, so what we've got here, again, we've got to try and, because it's curving, and what we've done, using a few pots, we found the centre, so we want to create what's called a voussoir plate. And if you go from the centre out to the end here, you can see that the voussoir would have to start there and end there, right to the end. And we do the same on this side. So our voussoir, we'd have to cut that out, okay, and then every one, theoretically, if we do one, and then we're going to see whether it all works all the way around to create the top of the gabion in the sapele wood. That's the theory, okay, we'll give it a go. There, if we cut that out, and we make every one the same, it should go all the way down, a nice radial, in theory. Let's give it a try. Just tell us, talk us through what you're doing here on the top of the gabion seat. What's happening?
Well, we're just trying to work out the number that we need for going round. It's around about 40 we think we need. That's allowing for a few extra. Having worked out the voussoir, we're going to then, I think it's going to be a case of taking these away and cutting them separately so that we've got the right angles. Which is basically looks like this, so you can see there that taper there, so that one will go in the centre, and then we can just work our way all the way around from there basically on both sides. When we get to around about kind of here, and we're going to have to work out how we're going to do the two edges.
Fantastic. So Adam, talk us through what's happening here then. We've got the voussoirs cut out by the looks.
We're trying to maintain a curve. And we're going to use the offcuts potentially just to get our spacing correct, ready to fixing it to the piece of board underneath.
Brilliant.
So we have a flawless finish and no holes, and having to invert them, continue the curve correctly every so often, as otherwise we're going to end up with a tighter curve than we require.
Brilliant, that looks good. Make this gabion here, whoops, and that's going to, we want some way of attaching the sapele again to the top. So we've got this piece of plywood which we cut out, which you've done, that's cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the middle out, so we're going to do some scribing. So Sarah's following that around with a pencil. We'll take it out, we can do that on the bench. We'll take it on the bench. What a good idea, I don't know why we didn't think about that before. Just move that around, that's good. So it's a bit of scribing, just to scribe that shape. And then what we'll do is that's great, lovely. That's brilliant, thank you. So what's happening here, we've got to make another voussoir plate, but as you can see, we've got our very sensitive measure here using the plant pots, which means it's an adjustable height on top of the steps. And what we're doing, that's an 85 centimetre radius. So we're going to bring the piece of string, if you can pass me the piece of string, we're going to bring that from the centre point to on the extrados, as it's called, and I'm going to put a marker on the intrados, which is there. Okay, so that's going to give me the cut, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So the idea of that is just to give us the marking so that we can now put we can cut what's called a voussoir plate. Okay, we're just going to pop that there, and that's got our cut. So when they go on, they will have that, they'll be the same shape, they'll be like a radial, kind of what we call a radial header, if you like, that goes around. And when we get to here, we'll stop and we'll have to, where the gabion runs out a little bit, we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, brilliant, fantastic. So just talk us through a little bit, what part of the garden you're doing?
So we're making the tree templates for one of the walls that will be rendered in white. So that's the sort of shape we're trying to make.
Very good. Yeah.
At the moment, we've drawn out the shapes on the ply, and then it's a case of jigsawing out that shape.
Brilliant. That looks pretty good, actually. Pretty good. So here we've got Sarah and Leslie. Talk us through this part of the work you're doing. What's happening?
Okay, so we're doing some stylized branches, like tree-like branches to represent dendrites in your brain, neurons and the brain movement. So we're creating texture that will be, we'll cut out, jigsaw out of the wood, and then we're cladding with these really beautiful sort of slate tiles, kind of mosaic style, but we're trying to make it quite stylized.
Brilliant.
Give the sense.
Andy, so talk us through how you're finishing off the ends of the chrysalis seat.
Yeah, so basically kind of a case of finding where the middle piece with the voussoir kind of radiating out from there. We've got 21 going out from each side. In terms of working out the ends though, because we were kind of considering whether to put a plant in this end, take those two out and put a plant in there to trail over, but we're thinking the better way to do it is to have a solid piece that hasn't been cut on the end, and then to just work around and follow the line of the gabion underneath, sketch that round, cut that through with the jigsaw and tidy it up, because then the whole thing kind of flows a little bit more and finishes it off better.
That's brilliant. Looks good. It looks a lot better actually doing it that way. Yeah, that's brilliant.
So we're trying to mark out the trees to cut out the plywood that will then be tiling, but because the tiles are set in strips of 5, we're trying to work the best way to do it. So each strip is 3 centimetres. So instead of just doing a free form cut, which we were doing to make the tiling easier, we're now trying to be more accurate in having a 6 centimetre branch or trunk. And
Brilliant.
hopefully the job will be quicker.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. Good, good. Well done. So here you got putting the 1 or 2 rails on. So what's the thinking here then, Jim and Holly? It's Holly's turn to talk.
So we're screwing them together in blocks of 10 to make it easier to transport and assemble when we're at the show garden.
That's good.
So we're just using the railing and screwing an individual screw in each block.
Brilliant. And so when we turn them over, all the tunnels join up.
Ideally.
So hopefully that's what it should look like. We've got the glue team. We've got them putting some tiles on, and Leslie here. There's nothing coming out the nozzle. I mean, that never happens when you're cake decorating, Leslie, does it?
Definitely not.
Never going to make that cake. And how are we doing over here, Sarah?
Okay, slowly but surely.
It's taking shape, isn't it? It's looking quite... The trees, that looks really good actually, doesn't it? Some nice colours in the...
Give it some nice texture.
That looks good. So you're doing a little zigzag on the tiling, and then Leslie's going to push them into place. And I can see here that Sarah's busy filling in the gaps there. But I love the colours. They look really good. Yeah, it looks nice. So what we've done here is we're creating the pergola top, which is this little piece here. And what we had to do was we had to work out the angle, which was 135 degrees, and then bisect the angle so you've got your 67.5 degrees, so that when you do these cuts here they meet up nice and neat. And obviously you've got to keep it square. And then we've put the sort of beams or joists, cross ones. They've got a 45-degree cut on them, which I did with the rip saw, just set that to 45 degrees. And then the next stage is we've got 2 of these, so they're going to go across here, but they're going to be half lapped with the ones below them, and so they'll just set at the same height. So that should give us hopefully a nice pergola top, and then when we come to put the posts in, we can then we can put a post sort of, obviously we'll have one at the back, there'll be a couple on the sides, and probably have a couple holding them up as well. So that's the sort of pergola part of this, and then we've got to paint it all up. So there's quite a lot to do here with the pergola.